Swashbucklers, you're listening to Under the Crossbones, episode number 55. My name is Phil Johnson. I'm your host for the show. Thank you once again for tuning in. It's always a pleasure to come and talk to you, and you can talk to me. Why don't you could talk to me? Yeah, you could do that. Just yell at your iPod or your phone or whatever you're listening on. iPods, do those even exist anymore? I think they stopped making them. Anyway, episode number 55. Fun fact about the number 55. In the new general catalog, object NGC55 is a magnitude 7.9 barred spiral galaxy in the constellation Sculptor. And the reason I bring that up is because my guests on the show today are from another planet. They are from the planet of Sweden. Unless you're listening in Sweden, then they are from your planet of Sweden. My guests on the show today, very excited to have these folks here. I have Ye Banished Privateers on the show. They are a large band, one of my favorite pirate bands, and we actually tried to do this interview months ago. We did it over Skype because I'm not in Sweden. I'm in California, and which is in the U.S. if you're in Sweden. Anyway, we tried to do this thing over Skype, and for some reason, technology doesn't always work. Long distance. Like you would think it's just ones and zeros, right? The sound quality turned out all garbly-gooky, and it was unusable. I didn't want to put that out for you. So they went on tour, they did a bunch of stuff, and we got back on months later and finally got to do this interview. And this one sounds really good, so you're gonna dig it. We're gonna talk about their new album, how they're recording it. Oh, it's a great interview. You're really gonna dig this one. And they have sent me a song from their new album, so we're gonna world premiere a new song from the new Ye Banished Privateers album right here on this show. Okay, so stay tuned after the interview for that. I am packing this in a day early here because I am off to Las Vegas to compete in the World Series of Comedy for the 7th year in a row, which might sound impressive. It just means I haven't won it yet, really. But it's always fun. It's like comedy summer camp, seriously. You know, I go out to Vegas and I do some sets at the festival, and I get to see a bunch of my comedian friends who I only get to see like once a year because we're all spread all over the country doing gigs, and it's cool. There's like a bowling night, right, where we all go bowling, and there's a poker tournament, and it's fun. So if you happen to be in Las Vegas this week, definitely go to the Las Vegas World Series of Comedy. It's at the Tuscany Hotel. My show is Tuesday night, the 7 o'clock show. That's the night you're listening to it. So if you're not listening to this on the day it comes out, you've missed me. You have missed me. But that's the 30th, August the 30th, Tuesday, 7 o'clock show is my first set. If I do well there, then you will see me on Saturday night at the semifinals and the finals. But yeah, so if you're in Vegas, come on out. Even if you miss me, come out anyway. There's Groupons you can get. There's discount tickets you can get. You know how it works. It's Vegas. And yeah, big event for the pod show here for the Under the Crossbones on September the 19th. Which we all know as Talk Like a Pirate Day, correct? Right? Yeah, September the 19th, we will be doing a live podcast recording in Burbank, California at the Story Tavern, which is a cool little bar in like downtown Burbank. It's a great little place. I visited there, and that is going to be hosted by Pirate Art Department, which is an odd name, but they do set design and production design and stuff like that, and they invited me down to come on down and do a live pod. So guests are TBA. We're still working on who we want to get. Some cool Hollywood people, things like that, of course. And so that's September the 19th. If you're in the area, definitely come on out. It's open to the public, and it's at the Story Tavern in Burbank, California. And yeah, for other tour dates, if I'm not coming near you yet, I will be. Go to underthecrossbones.com. Click on the tour dates button, and you can see where I'm going to be coming to do comedy or a live podcast or something like that near you. Washington, Oregon, Florida, Illinois, Wisconsin, they are all coming up. If you're in Sweden, I don't have any tour dates there yet, but you could change that. You could request me at a venue there, and yeah, we'll talk about that in the interview because we kind of get into that a little bit. All right. Also, if I'm not coming near you and you want to see what I do, my last two specials are on Amazon Video Direct. You can check that out. They're called Pretty From the Back, which is my latest one, and the one before that is called Be Yourself Unless You're an Idiot. And they're getting some nice traction on Amazon, so that's pretty cool. So you can go on there and check those out. If you're a Prime member, it's free. You can watch it for free. Otherwise, you can rent it for like $2, $1.99, something like that, or you can download it forever and ever to keep. I think it's like $7.99. You can also find all that stuff at my personal website, philjohnsоncomedy.com. If you're digging the show, and I hope you are, catch up with us on Facebook at Facebook/Under the Crossbones, Twitter under Crossbones, no the in that one. And of course, you can get all the show notes for this show here at underthecrossbones.com/055 for episode number 55. Oh, Spotify too. You can find me on Spotify. All my albums are there. All my singles are there. All that kind of good stuff. I love Spotify. That's my favorite thing. All right. So let's see. Oh, what else we got here? If you want to support the show, and I hope you do, because I put a lot of hours into it, and it's fun, but it's a lot of hours. Go to the underthecrossbones.com/support. Right there, you can leave a little PayPal donation in the box. You can click the Amazon banner, buy yourself something nice. I get a little kickback. Doesn't change your price at all. And if you want to be a sponsor of the show, if you have a service or a product that you think a pirate crowd would like, hit me up. And it's cheap. It's easy. We'll get you on as a sponsor of the show. All right. I have to go pack for Las Vegas. So let's, I'm going to do that while we're listening to the interview. All right. So here is my very fun interview with Ye Banished Privateers. Check it out. Glad to have you guys on the show. This is our second attempt at it because technology thwarted us the first time. And so happy to have you guys here. Tell me who's on the call with us.
Thank you. We are Ye Banished Privateers, and we have Björn, Martin,
Sara, Magda, and a lot of crew members sitting around listening.
This may be the most raucous interview I've done yet.
We hope so. We try.
Yeah. Great. So you guys are definitely one of my favorite pirate bands. I listen to your stuff all the time. It's really very cool, very fully realized type of music. Tell me where the band started and how you guys got together.
Thank you. It started, I think, 10 or 11 years ago, actually, as an idea. We had a pirate costume party, or we didn't have it, but some other guy hosted it on a boat in our hometown, and me and Peter ended up on a rubber boat together, rowing to this party. And we had cool costumes, and we sang some songs that I had actually written for a role-playing game. And at that party, as we got drunk and started to, giving each other compliments for each other's cool costumes, we said we should start a pirate band. And it took 3 years, but then we did it. And here we are now.
That's great. Now, tell me about the role-playing game that you had written songs for. What was that all about?
Well, there was a game, Warhammer, and we played youngsters from Bretonia, that's France in this game. It's a parallel to France, and I played this young guy who was fixated with pirates, and who wanted to be a pirate himself, and a river pirate. So I wrote some songs for that role-playing game, and we actually perform at least 3 of those songs still.
Interesting. Okay, and what prompted you to want to write songs about that game?
Well, it was a fun thing to do, to expand the character, and to make him live a bit more, and to expand the world and add some flavor to it. So I wrote the songs only to be able to perform them like once in game.
Oh, I see. Okay, that's great. And so you have these couple of songs. You end up in a rowboat. And then where does everybody else come from?
Well, the thing was, I could play guitar and piano or something like that. And Peter couldn't play anything. So we realized that, we need a band for this. And so it was actually on a second Pirate Fest, I think, a pirate party that we started asking around. And we asked some friends, and before we knew it, we were 7 guys, and then as soon as we got started and we started rehearsals, we finished one of the rehearsals, we went to the pub, and when we left the pub, we were 11 in the band. So, and today we are 30, actually.
30, that's insane. So is it all 30 people on stage, or are you rotating people in and out?
We rotate. Because we have families and it's difficult to travel as often as we do, as the band do. So we have to be people to fill up, to give that full sound of Ye Banished.
Right. And so how many people would you normally have on stage at one time?
9 to 11 or more.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's strictly economy, actually, and some logistics, how many people we can fit on a stage. But we have performed with 5 people on stage. So.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Now, I can totally, that absolutely makes sense to have that many people, because I have a band of 8 people, and I only have 8 people. So if the schedule doesn't work, then we don't have 8 people. So I can see we're having a pool of 30 people to pull from. Yeah. You're going to be able to pull together a band at any given point, that's such a great idea.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, it started off with a lot of people that joined in, thought it was fun after just tagging along for a tour and you know, picking up the guitar, learning a few songs, and then doing a gig, and then, you know, after a while we realized, wait a minute, you're part of the band too. we need to change this up. Actually, recently we had this kind of like get together, sort of like let's just open up the floodgates and let everybody have, you know, as much responsibility and being able to use all the awesomeness of all the people involved, instead of having like a small group of the originals and then a lot of stand-ins, which are basically just as good or even better than the original members. So yeah, we're a huge crew right now, and it's working. We're different sort of band setup every gig, I say. It's cool.
And the dream would be to be all 30 people going on one crazy big tour all together.
Right. And that works. That would actually be really good, because then you can, I mean, I've been on the road with 5 guys, and you grow to hate each other after a while. And so if you have 30 people, you can spread the hatred among all 30. It would make it better, I think. I think I'm going to change the entire format of my own band now. This is a great idea. So when you started writing music, what was the thought process into I mean, obviously you said, okay, we're going to write pirate music. Was there any sort of thought given to what kind of pirate music, how far you would lean in any particular genre direction?
Peter comes in and gives the big explanation, but then gives up.
I can say from the top of my head, at the beginning there were a few songs, mostly Björn wrote the songs, and then Peter came along like, oh, I wrote this poem when I was drunk or something, and then it was sort of fitted together, and then after a while maybe the poem was so good that the music evolved, or the other way around, and then after a while it was like, oh, we actually have like 15 songs. And
Peter had music in his head but didn't have the equipment, the tools to get it out of his head. Yeah. So we have to like struggle, like, what do you mean, and this chord or this melody, and he's like, it was like a big struggle to get it out, and then it was brilliant every time.
This week or so. Peter was grumping in a corner most of the time, and not looking quite happy, or saying, well, it didn't turn out the way I thought it would, or I expected, but yeah, this is good.
Actually, way in the beginning, we had a rule that said that if you're too good at an instrument, you have to change. Or actually, we just switched instrument in different songs. Every song had a new lead vocalist. Every song switched up between different instruments. And
that didn't work out.
It didn't. But it was a good thing for like a very
creative process. Or
yeah, but also just to take the edge of like performing, or I have to, you know, like, oh, you have to play this solo you have to be a perfect musician or whatever. We could have all the highs and all the lows, and it was okay, because everybody knew that, you know, next song it's you who's going to try to do this instrument that you can't really handle. And
that was good, because that's how we ended up with a lot of different singers, and not like we're going to put a great singer in the front of the band and that's the way it is. Like more, let's mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, and I think that's still last, like, if there's an idea for a song, still today, there's like, oh, I think this song would be great if, for instance, Magda would sing the lead female vocals, and Jim took the male vocals in this duet or whatever. So the whole idea is how the, you know, the whole idea is also in a performance sort of way. Like, oh, I think you will do this song great because you're such a theatrical singer. Or you will do this song great because you have this fragile, you know, really emotional pitch, or whatever it is. And
then each song, or maybe not every song, but a lot of songs have 1 or 2 singers, or 3 singers, or 4. Or
yeah,
depending on who can go on the tour.
Yeah.
That's nice when you can sort of divvy up the parts like that, because somebody gets to take a little break from singing. I cannot sing for an hour anymore. It just destroys my throat.
Yeah.
I can talk for an hour, but singing for an hour, it just messes me up. I'm good for about 20 minutes, and then I want somebody else to take over. But there's nobody else on stage when I'm up there usually, so that's the way that works. So now, when you're recording your tracks, how do you go about deciding who of the 30 people is going to be in the recording studio to work on stuff, or is it just kind of who's there?
Well, for the first two albums, we were still divided into, like, for the first album, it was just one crew of 11 people. But then it was quite easy. Then we just put everyone in the studio at the same time and we pressed record. Yeah. For the second album, we had started to get some of the stand-ins, but we still kept with the original crew, and then some of those stand-ins came and made some additions to the album. But we are on our way of releasing our third album, and for this album we just put 25 people into the studio at the same time and pressed record.
Nice.
So the mixing process has been quite tough with this one. It takes a lot of...
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah, I would guess that you get like a really live sound. I mean, how much are you multi-tracking, and how much are you actually just putting everybody in the room and having them play at the same time?
Well, it is multi-tracking because we have individual mics on each instrument. So so we have at least 25 to 30 tracks on each song.
Sure.
Yeah, but other than that, it's a lot like live. But then of course it's a thing of editing out some of the sounds to make it. I mean, when you add 30 tracks on top of each other, it's like a huge noise. Or
oh yeah, no, absolutely.
I want to answer because I think that our strength is that we do record live. Like, we don't use click tracks. We don't put like the drums goes first, and we put like, we do try to do it as live as we can. So we have like 4 or 5 mics in each room set up, and everybody plays, but you still get it on an individual channel, so you are able to edit it in afterwards in the post process. But I think the strength is to actually play the songs live and have the feeling as a band as a whole.
So
the studio where we were recording had one room that was really meant for recording, and then we had to use all the rooms around it too. So we had 2 singers in the toilet, and a few in the kitchen, and in the cleaning cabinet. So someone was sitting with an accordion, and use all the space that we could find.
That was on the third album that's coming out later. On the first 2 albums, we did live takes with all the crew, and then edited new music on top of that. So I think it was difficult for Björn that the flute was all over the place. So on the third album, I had to record like 1.5 hour in studio solo to do everything after everyone else, so it wouldn't destroy the...
Yeah, and we do add quite a lot of... We have one big choir live, but then we put we dub the leads, we dub some of the more significant choirs afterwards, so you get that full vocal. Because it's kind of hard to play at your best and sing at your best at the same time. So when you do it live, it's sort of you play from the guts, but when you do it in the studio, it tends to be like a little bit more tension to it, so you want to focus on one thing.
And on the third album, you did accordion, bass, drums. What else did you have? Violin as a foundation of the song. What else did you have? Guitar,
banjo.
No, we had all the instruments except for the flute and the big drum, I think, at the same time.
And
the sitar, because
mandolin.
The sitar is so quiet. No, the mandolin was at the same time.
Yeah, really?
I was in the bathroom.
So, because the big drum is so loud, so it would drown out everything else, and the sitar is so quiet, so it needs a quiet room.
Yeah, and we put like 3 musicians in each room and try to blend them out single them out in a corner, but you still get that live playing together feeling.
And this singer sang it on the record, and then added a new song on top of that later.
Yeah. And when Pete did his vocals, he had to do it all alone because it's physically impossible for anyone else to be inside this room when he moves around, dancing and It's just too dangerous. So we had an extra day for that.
His beard is basically so vast and strange, so everybody else gets confused when he's moving. We usually close our eyes on stage when he goes up to the lead mic because it's strange,
mesmerizing.
That's great. Well, it sounds like it's going to be a really fascinating sound for the album to have that kind of live communal energy. It almost reminds me of, I don't know if you guys have heard, there's Bruce Springsteen put out an album probably about 10 years ago called the Seeger Sessions, where he did all Pete Seeger folk songs. And that was all in one room where he had all, a lot of very acoustic instruments and things like that. And it's got such a unique vibe just because nobody records like that anymore, that it just gives it a really, really different old school type of sound, but with modern equipment. Just sounds fantastic.
It's a really great album. I know it's Americana, but that's actually the album that got me into Irish music.
Oh, really?
I heard it at my brother's house once, like 10 years ago or something like that, and it was the Erie Canal, I think the song is called.
Oh yeah, great one. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just blown away from the sound, and I started listening to this album, and then led me down a trail and a path where I ended up listening to Irish music.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it is. It's all that stuff is really fantastic. Well, I'm super stoked to hear your new album now. When is it? When are you looking at releasing it?
We hope at the end of the summer, but we'll see.
Okay.
What happens?
Yeah. Yeah, releases are always like that. Yeah.
And Björn is actually mixing it by himself and is constantly on tour and doing whatever a family father is doing also at the same time. So it's kind of we have a deadline which is kind of a like a gray area deadline, sort of wishful deadline.
It was ready.
If the stars are right.
I know those deadlines very well.
The thing is also that with the two previous albums, we've done everything by ourselves. The first album we printed and ordered the CDs ourselves. The second we found a German printer who we more or less strong-armed into printing the albums. Just the same day we finished like the mastering of it and the layouts. And with this album, since they have a bit more invested in us now, they want the promotional dates to be right. So they want a few weeks' notice in order to be able to promote the album and find a good spot for us. So it's not entirely up to us, but we're aiming for the end of the summer.
Yeah, and worth noting, we've been editing a live DVD, which were filmed with, 6 or 7 cameras, a sort of a multi-track recording, and it was a 2.5 hour show. With
release party for our
the
second
release
album.
party for the second album, and that show took a lot of effort in editing, also just mixing the sound and bouncing everything back and forth between the film crew and everything, but it's basically going to be a release for a live DVD. I don't know if every song is in it because we were really tired at the end of the 23 songs I think we did in 2.5 hours, something like that.
That's great.
Yeah, but the DVD is kind of finished, so we're going to release that as well. So it's been kind of a parallel work between the third album and the release party DVD for the second album.
So let's talk about the live shows a little bit. How many dates are you guys doing a year?
I just counted in my head on my way here, and I figured out that last year we did 60 days on tour.
That's great.
But then not all of those dates are gig dates. There's a lot of traveling going on as well. I think we did 13 trips to Germany, and then we had 5 or 6 gigs in Sweden as well. And yeah.
So you're primarily gigging in Sweden and Germany, and how does that I've played in a couple of different countries myself, but is it fairly easy to work in different countries there?
We're a big band, and we have families back home, so we decided 2 years ago, or a little more than 1 year ago, that rather than trying to make money out of this, we're going to try to shorten the times away from home as much as possible. And actually, if you got jobs back home, going on tour means we will end up losing money no matter what we do. So we try to keep the trips as short as possible and as as uncomfortable and cheap as possible. So we got our backstage hotel, which is in the back of a truck. Usually when we play in Germany, it's just an empty truck where we sleep. And
the trailer behind the stage. That's basically
okay.
Literally,
or
that's
tent,
nice.
or somebody's couch, or
glamorous.
That's hardcore, man. Yeah, but it works. So, what kind of places are you playing? Because here in the U.S., the pirate bands are primarily playing at pirate festivals and things like that. We've got a couple of guys that do club and theater dates. What kind of venues are you playing at?
Well, we play all different sorts of venues. We played 2 years in a row. We played the world's biggest metal festival called Wacken in Germany. And then we played, we do most gigs at a festival called the MPS, which is means something like the Medieval Fantastic Spectacle German festival, which is the world's biggest touring medieval festival. It moves around from town to town in Germany, each weekend a new town.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's
all year.
It's I think I've never been to one of your fairs in the US, but from watching like YouTube clips and stuff like that, I think it's quite the same. Perhaps a bit more focused on the music because it's actually it's both a medieval market, but it's also like a rock music festival, but with bands that don't really fit into the main scenes. It's a huge variety. A lot of bagpipes and fairy tale bands and pagan bands and medieval bands and pirate bands and stuff like that.
That's really great. That sounds super fun. Actually, that sounds like a great time. Yeah, here the Pirate Fest and the Renaissance fairs and things like that are the music is a sort of an add-on to the festival. It's a big part of it, but there's usually 3 or 4 stages of stuff, but most of it is people selling things and people dressing up and stuff like that. So something that's music centered like that would be quite an adventure. Are there a lot of other specifically pirate bands in your area or Europe in general?
In Sweden, maybe 2 or 3.
Maybe.
Three pirate bands in Sweden that
that we know of.
Yeah, probably more.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, in Europe, told we're one of the top 5 pirate bands in Europe.
No, in Europe it's quite big, I think. Yeah. There's lots of pirate bands.
Yeah.
Mostly heavy metal, though.
Yeah, it's mostly electric guitars and full drum kit sort of setting in my...
Ailstorm or Running Wild.
And how do those bands view what you do, the more authentic, old school type of stuff?
They don't know about us.
No, they don't know about us.
They don't consider us really...
All right. Well, they should know about it. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you.
Great. Well, so your website is yebanishedprivateers.com. What do you guys have coming up for tour dates over the next couple months?
Well, we got the next trip is the last weekend in July. We go to Cologne, Germany. And then the weekend after that, we go to a festival called Castlefest in the Netherlands. And
Great.
The last weekend in August, we go back to Germany again to a festival called Pirates Festival, which was the first festival we played in Germany, where everything started for us. And then the first weekend in September will be in Hamburg. And then the last weekend in September will be in Holland again, in the Netherlands, at a festival called Elfia. First weekend in October will be in Germany, in a place called Hohenlockstedt. And then in November, 2 times in Germany, and December, 1 time in Germany.
We have a Facebook page.
Fantastic. Great. Yes, so I'll link up the website and the Facebook page, and anybody that's listening out in those areas, definitely go see Ye Banished Privateers. The show is listened to. My tongue got tied. This show is listened to in 70 countries, so there's got to be somebody in those areas who's going to come see you guys. So that's fantastic. Is there anything I didn't ask you guys about that you want the listeners to know?
Yes. One thing, people often write to us and ask, when are you going to come to Brazil, or when are you going to come to US, or when are you going to come to Finland? And we always give them the same answer, that it always starts with you. You have to promote it. You have to find the guy or the girl who runs this club or runs this festival, and you have to nag and beg and write and threaten them.
And show them YouTube clips and Facebook page and photos and SoundCloud and all those stuff.
Even though we have a booker in Germany now, but it started the same in Germany and it always starts the same in every new place. Is some crazy son of a bitch that discovered us on YouTube or on Spotify or heard our music that introduces us to one of his or her friends that is connected.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And that's the way we get gigs. So help us out. If you want to come
great.
to the US, help us out.
We want to come.
There you go. No, I totally agree. I think most people don't know what kind of power they actually have to bring a band or a performer to their towns. They're much more effective at doing it than we could be. Well, this has been great. I'm glad we finally got to do this, and I'm looking forward to getting it all put together and getting it out to everybody to hear. So I'm glad we got to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
All right, I'll talk to you again soon.
Yep. Bye.
And there it is, friends. That is my interview with Ye Banished Privateers. Super fun, yeah? And like they were talking about, if there's an artist that you want to see in your country, in your city, wherever you are, a word to the local club from you means way more than it does from us. So if you want to see Ye Banished Privateers here in the States where I am, or if in your country, your city, go to a venue. Say, hey, man, I got to see this band. They're really awesome. They're fantastic. If you want to see me come and do comedy in your area, do the same thing. Go find a venue and say, hey, you got to book Phil Johnson because he's an amazing comedian. I made that last part up. I am, though. You can tell them that. And I'll try to be amazing when I get there, because sometimes I am. Friends, have you got your LifeLock account yet? You really need that, because there are pirates out there. I just got a LifeLock alert this morning I have to follow up on, that they found some of my information on some weird sketchy site out in the ugly parts of the internet there, and they sent me a note. They said, hey, you better check this out, and I have to still do that as soon as I finish packing and doing this for you. That's going to be done. But if you don't have LifeLock yet, you need it, because identity theft is like the #2 crime in the world right now. And seriously, and it's ridiculous, and it's a pain in the butt when it happens. And I don't want it to happen to you, because it's a giant pain when they start stealing your stuff. All right? So all you have to do, go to underthecrossbones.com/LifeLock, click the green Start Your Membership button, and you will get 10% off. It's just that easy. Got an ebook for you, Alexander Exquemelin's Pirates of Panama, or the Buccaneers of America, whichever title you prefer. And you can go to underthecrossbones.com, click on the ebook button. You get that. If you've never read it, it's a period piece of pirate writing from the Golden Age. It's fascinating stuff written by a guy who was on a pirate ship. Period. Time. Right there. He's there. He's there. It's like a reality show, except interesting. So make sure you get that. You can go to underthecrossbones.com, click the free ebook button, or if you're out and about, if you're out traveling, all you got your phone with you, and you don't want to dig into your web browser, that's fine. Just text the word pirate and your email address to 94253. Just text the word pirate and your email address to 94253. It'll kick you back a link to download the book. Very simple. If you want to find out more about Ye Banished Privateers, and I know you do, because how could you not, right? Go to yebanishedprivateers.com. Now, if you were a normal person I was talking to, not a pirate person, if you were a normal person, like a mainstream civilian type person, I would have to spell some of those words for you. But because I know that you are a pirate person, I do not have to spell any of those words for you, because you use them on a daily basis. It's yebanishedprivateers.com. All right, we got some comedy music. We're going to hear some comedy from my pal Dougie Almeida. And the clip I've got from you today is actually from last year's World Series of Comedy, where Dougie did a set. He'll be there this year, too. So if you dig him here, come on out to the World Series in Vegas this week. Come on, check out me, check out Dougie, check out the other 99 comedians that'll be there. I'm going to see so much comedy this week. Like after the World Series, I don't want to listen to comedy for like a week after that. I'm so very tired of jokes. But it's a great event. And so after Dougie, we are going to hear a new song. Like I said, a world premiere from the new Ye Banished Privateers album. By the way, they just got signed to a label, big label. Yeah. And so we had to ask permission to play this song and all that kind of stuff. So they're on to bigger and better things. This is going to be good. And the song is called First Night Back in Port. It's a doozy. You're going to dig it. Here we go. Dougie Almeida doing some comedy. And then Ye Banished Privateers playing First Night Back in Port. Hope you enjoy. Ooh, just a quick heads up. There may be a couple naughty words in the song. Don't tell, okay? All right.
Here's a little news from today. In Iraq, a bomb exploded unexpectedly in the middle of a suicide bomber class. Although somewhat tragic, All the students involved graduated ahead of schedule. The instructor was last quoted as saying, "Everybody gather around, I can only show you this once." I just found out a friend of mine's racist. Calls me out of the blue, he says, "Hey man, I can't believe the names that black people name their kids." I said, "Really?" He says, "Yeah. Like LaQuisha, Taniqua, Shanae." I'm like, "Well, that's funny you should say that, Dick." I think I'd rather be called Taniqua, that's all I'm saying. I can't be racist. I'm actually involved in an interracial relationship. My girlfriend is married to a black guy. I think that counts. I'm just saying.
Every bar, prepare for being boarded, cause we're back from naval war. Crack open every barrel, let wine and whiskey free. Let's ring for all the mates that we lost out there at sea. Hear the clapping of the gun, I got spiritual for the beer. And they did hunt still, disembark from the frontier. Every man and every woman, every lad and every lass, jack your chain down to the dockside. If you want some peace or that, it's our first night back in war. Let's drink. Upon the oysters, stretch neck and cruise. Hot and smooth, my port, run the ship into the dock. That's your picnic on my crew. Unleash the cups and cops, it's our first night back in the port. Let's drink, let's fight, let's fornicate by the harbor light. Let's funk, let's fight, let's dance away the night. Let's drink, let's fight, let's fornicate by the harbor light. Let's funk, let's fight, let's dance away the night.
That is our show for today, friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. I always appreciate it. If you haven't yet left us that nice 5-star review on iTunes, go do that because I like reading them. It's very nice. It helps us in the listings there. Even better, if you subscribe to the show in iTunes, that helps us move up the charts, right? That's the big thing. And if you don't use iTunes, that's cool. I don't use iTunes either. You can catch us on Stitcher, Google Play, Slacker, maybe. I think Slacker, whatever, Overcast. I use Podcast Addict. Anywhere, whatever you're listening to podcasts on, you can find us there. But just make sure that you're subscribed so you get all the new episodes downloaded right to your phone. If you want to hear more from Ye Banished Privateers, go to yebanishedprivateers.com. If you want to hear more from Dougie Almeida, go to Dougie, that's D-O-U-G-I-E, Almeida, A-L-M-E-I-D-A.com, DougieAlmeida.com. Or spell it wrong, Google will figure it out. You can do it. And yeah, that's it. Make sure you hit all the show notes underthecrossbones.com/055. And that's it. I am gonna go. Finish packing and have some lunch and go do one more set tonight to practice my festival set. And then I'm gonna go take over Las Vegas this week. All right. And so wish me luck, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.